Part 100. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 999. Look at the live broadcast room filled with piles of gifts. The two brothers, Seong Dakshan and Seong, could hardly close their mouths from ear to ear when they saw the gifts flying all over the screen. So, maintaining this motivation, they returned to the fishing boat and drove to the next live broadcast location. However, they were happy, but the fish in the puddle fell into panic because the water in the puddle was constantly being pumped away. Players, including those who turned into fish, also felt a sense of powerlessness. This is the crushing of lower creatures by humans from the top of the food chain. What exactly is going on? Look, what is that? That terrible west entrance seems to have sucked away all the sea water. Here, the sun didn't even dry the water, but it was sucked away by this inexplicable thing. It's really impossible for this round of dungeons to let us spend these 2 days so easily. Sutingyu also woke up the two brothers and sister. Faced with this situation, the two small fish were a little confused. Could it be that this is the external cause that the teacher mentioned? Now there is an unknown force that is constantly pumping away the water in the puddle. And at this rate, within 4 hours, the water in the puddle may not be enough for the fish to survive. They are just small fish now. If they leave the water, they will not survive at all. Teacher, what should we do? The two brothers and sisters couldn't help but panic, and couldn't help pinning their hopes on Sutingyu, hoping that the latter could come up with a solution. You follow my instructions first. You go pick up some small stones and the like. Our current hiding spot has a recessed stone trough inside. If all the water outside drains away, there should still be some water left inside. Use those rocks to block it and make this sunken hole bigger. Two brothers and sisters, okay. Teacher. Let's do it now. After receiving Sutingyu's instructions, the two brothers and sisters seemed to have found a backbone in an instant, and their hope was rekindled. With the teacher here, there should be nothing to fear. As everyone knows, their teacher now, Sutingyu also has no confidence in his heart. Sutingyu silently called Lucifer several times in her heart, but she didn't get any response from her Zilulu. This is strange. Logically speaking, it's just that the inventory is blocked. Now that he has entered the dungeon world again, Lucifer's energy level should have recovered accordingly. So, the mere inventory shouldn't be able to lock him down, right? Lulu? Lulu, Sutingyu called a few more times. What went wrong? Suddenly, Sutingyu seemed to remember something. Wait a moment. Did his Xia Lulu stay up all night watching TV series the night before he entered the dungeon? It seems, right? Moreover, it seems that he did not return to the inventory and entered the dungeon with him, right? Oh, 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 oh. Will Lucifer still stay in the real world and watch TV series? Just forget about her as the master. Sutingyu's whole fish felt bad, as if it had been struck by lightning. Come on, come on, come on, come on. The more you want to recall something, the memory will play tricks on you at this time, and the details will become more and more blurry. It seems Lulu came in, right? It seems like he didn't come in? It seems to have come in again, and it seems not to have come in. It's over, Sutingyu never expected it. She actually forgot Lucifer in the real world. No, no. Sutingyu gritted his teeth. That little bastard must have been so obsessed with watching the show that he forgot about her as his master. If I had known earlier, I would have let him continue to hide. With the outsider fatty here, Lucifer would not run out so recklessly every day. Dishes hashtag, damn it. After Sutingyu scolded a certain little bastard in her heart, she could only pick up the pebbles. While the water level in the puddle is still quite high, we can use the water flow to move some of the largest stones. The three small fish hummed and worked hard to carry them without stopping. They had to avoid the attention of other players and guard against the dangerous whirlpool formed by pumping water. And at this time, all the fish were panicking as if they had encountered the end of the world. Small creatures such as small crabs and shrimps hid directly in the moist sand. In the gaps between the rocks, the conch also began to shrink its exposed flesh and hide in the protective shell. Some larger fish have also begun to seek shelter in various parts of the puddle. There are no more fish, and they will still stare at the gentians in the puddles to eat. You can eat at any time, but you only have one life. Why does this feel like a pump pumping water? I have an ominous feeling. Who is going to drain all the water out of the puddle? Those players who turned into fish were more sensitive than ordinary fish and had already gone to find a safe hiding place. Since the dungeon states that players are not allowed to leave the puddle, thinking backwards, as long as the players do not leave the puddle, there is still a glimmer of hope for this round of dungeon. In the puddle, this is the end of the world for the big fish and the little fish, and it does not affect the humans above the puddle. The two staff members who were left by the two bloggers, SurvivalGame, to guard the water pump, watched the water pumping for a short time at first. Later, when I was too bored, I took out my mobile phone and started watching short videos, reading novels, and watching TV series. Because the sound of the mobile phone was relatively loud, it was also transmitted to the bottom of the puddle. Ordinary fish, big and small, were still panicking, but the fish transformed by the player actually heard this strange sound. Holy crap, there's really no one up here, right? What do they want to do with all this water? Puddles, pumping water, damn. Are they making a nest? But despite the various wails of the fish players under the puddle, the humans on the shore couldn't hear them at all. They were still going their own way and watching short videos to pass the time. The long 3.5 hours passed by bit by bit. SurvivalGame, who left the fishing ground on a boat, came back again. Dear friends in the live broadcast room, you must be waiting impatiently. After 3.5 hours of pumping, the water in the chicken head pit has almost been filled. Now we will go down and see if we can harvest anything. Seongda was explaining, and Seong-er would move the camera to the puddle behind Seongda from time to time according to the explanation. A staff member brought a plastic box specifically for placing fish caught from the puddle. Seongda took the plastic box and first put some seawater into it. Then Seongda carried the box alone and Seong-er took the photography equipment and walked down to the puddle respectively. At this time, although there is still a layer of water level tens of centimeters high in the puddle, this water level has already exposed many fish to the camera of the live broadcast room. And the barrages in the live broadcast room also started to go crazy. There are fish there. Did the anchor see it? There are fish there. I saw one too, just over there on the left-hand side. Holy shit, I saw an 8-claw, what a big 8-claw. Is that a dog shark? Is it a dog shark? Hurry up and catch the anchor, stop talking nonsense, hurry up, hurry up. Seeing the intense reaction of the audience in the live broadcast room, Seongda said, "Dear friends, don't be impatient, we will catch them one by one. As long as you see them, I, Seongda, promise not to miss a single fish of. Come on, tell me, which one should I catch first? Dog shark, catch that dog shark. A book written with thousands of blood, the dog shark must be caught first." A firework reward floated by, accompanied by the words "catch dog sharks." Seeing that the dog shark was the most vocal among the viewers in the live broadcast room, Seongda readily agreed to this request. "Okay, let's catch the dog shark first." I saw Seongda stretching out his hands, slowly squatting down, and getting closer to the dog shark in the water. Then, pounce. The dog shark's head was directly pressed down with two hands. After the dog shark was threatened, its entire body began to struggle violently. Especially the very powerful fish tail, which directly caused a splash of water almost half a meter high. Seongda almost lost his grip several times. He showed great surprise and excitement. Wow wow wow. So powerful. This big guy weighs at least 10 kilograms. He's making a lot of money. He's making a lot of money. Seongda showed an image of a simple fisherman who seems to have found a lot of money, which is what the audience in the live broadcast room likes to see the most. Because in today's materialistic society, people have become more and more tired of those exquisite and gorgeous masks, and prefer this return to nature element. The two brothers, Seongdakshin and Seongdakshin, have grasped this point and achieved good results in the live broadcast. In the end, Seongda spent a lot of effort and threw the dog shark into the water tank. Under the background of the live broadcast effect, the popularity of the live broadcast room has been rising. Immediately afterwards, Seongda aimed at the next prey. It's a very brightly colored pearl spot, and it's also blue. It's been a long time since I've seen such beautiful pearl spots. I'll show them to the viewers in the live broadcast room. Seongda spoke excitedly while gearing up, getting closer to pearl spot little by little. Immediately, the expectations of the audience in the live broadcast room were also raised. At this time, the humans in these live broadcast rooms did not know that the blue fish in their eyes, like a fish dotted with blue pearls, was roaring like a human man in their hearts. Damn it! What the hell is this? Damn it! What kind of live broadcast? What about catching fish? Damn, what kind of ghost copy is this? There are no hints at all. This pearl-spotted man was very desperate, but he was unwilling to give up and started swimming in the water. It's a pity that the water level here is already very low. Seongda has also been fishing professionally for more than 10 years, so his sight is not disturbed by a little bit of muddy water. Suddenly, Seongda took action. Killed by a direct hit, Pearl Spot, who wanted to escape, was firmly held down by two hands. No. No. I don't want, let me go. Let me go. I'm a human too. The pearl-spotted man roared. However, humans could not hear his roars at all. They could only see the pearl-spotted mouth opening, as if it was breathing heavily because it suddenly left the water. In order not to overturn the car, Seongda directly grabbed the gills on both sides and picked up the entire fish. The fish caught by the gills has lost most of its combat effectiveness and can only be reduced to fish meat on the chopping board, obediently being slaughtered. General Seong was as excited as a child about the pearl spots he caught, and showed them to the audience in the live broadcast room. Look. Audience friends, isn't this pearl spot beautiful? His body is wider than my slap. Pearl spots are very rare to see. I haven't caught one in almost a month. This kind of blue pearl spots are even rarer. I'm really lucky today. After the display, Seongda pointed the pearl spot at the water tank, and then threw it high, showing a parabola. Go ahead you. The pearl spot fell into the water tank without any accident. There is little water in the tank, and the height of the box on the four sides makes it difficult for a fish of this size to get over it. The fish that were put into the water tank basically had no hope of survival. Ouch, that pearl spot still won't give up. Courage is commendable, but it's a pity that I can't jump out no matter how hard I dance. Hurry up, Seongda, I saw another eel, very long, even to your left. Where is it? Why didn't I see it? In fact, Seongda discovered an eel nearby early in the morning. However, he deliberately didn't say it out loud, and specifically signaled Seong-er to a place not captured by the camera, asking him to turn the camera there inadvertently. Sure enough, the viewers in the live broadcast room were all very sharp-eyed and spoke out excitedly. I saw it, I'll catch it right now at this time, Seongda seemed to be reminded, and then walked over with a look of surprise and laughter. There's still octopus over there. And over there, woohoo. This is an abalone. It's sucked on the rocks, I almost lost my sight. This is a swimming crab. Not bad, not bad. It's very lively. Take it, take it. As the harvest increased, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room became more and more exciting. I feel there must be fish under that reef. Seongda, it's time to show your strength. Wow, manta ray, the first time I saw it for real. Looking up close, this manta fish really looks a bit scary. The deadbeat cousin in the adventures of Little Carp is definitely my biggest misunderstanding about manta rays. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 1000. At this time, the player panels popped up, which really shocked many nervous players. Players currently still within the puddle, 39. In such a short time, 11 players were arrested. The hearts of the other players sank. On the barrage in the live broadcast room. The daily zebrafish tasks have not been completed yet. Anchor, hurry up and take out a nest of zebrafish. Am I here to watch the anchor? No, I'm looking at zebrafish. Funny dog head. Sutingyu and the others who were hiding in the crevices of the reef also heard the sounds outside. The sound of footsteps accompanied by the sound of water shoes driving the sea water was as clear as thunder. What should we do? People outside won't find us, right? It's okay, calm down. The gap in the reef is so narrow that human hands can't reach it. Sutingyu's words seemed to have given the two siblings a reassuring shot. Start now, don't make any noise, and don't make water noises with your tail. If you want to breathe, try to put your head out of the water to breathe without making bubbles. Okay, teacher. For the sake of their own lives, the two brothers and sisters strictly followed Sutingyu's instructions and did not dare to slack off in the slightest. Their three little fishes were all staying in the small puddle on the reef. The water in the small puddle was barely enough to soak into Sutingyu's small bodies. However, because the three fish were crowded together, they could not be completely soaked. At most, a small part of each fish's body was exposed to the air. Dear viewers in the live broadcast room, have you seen it? There is a crack here on this reef. Generally, don't miss this kind of crack. Maybe there will be something harvested inside. As Seongda spoke, he stretched out an arm and groped inside the cracks in the rocks. But the gap in the reef is too narrow, and it is difficult for an adult man's arm to reach inside. Moreover, there are a lot of gravel stuck outside. The first time he reached in failed, the bear first cleaned up the small rocks near the cracks in the reef. Then, he tried to put his hand in for the second time. At this time, Seong's big hand was able to touch deeper. Sutingyu and the others also saw a human hand, digging around based on feeling. Seeing this scene, the three little fish didn't dare to express their anger, and they tried their best to restrain the urge to wag their tails and pat the puddles. As for the big bear outside, he reached in and grabbed it blindly while listening carefully with his ears for any other sounds inside the reef. But after listening for a while, Seongda felt a little disappointed. It's like, there's really no fish in it. However, the viewers in the live broadcast room are still urging, and they are also curious about whether there are any fish in the crevices of the reef. Seongda felt that if he directly said that there was no fish, it would dampen the enthusiasm of the audience in the live broadcast room. Why not, let them guess. At most, it would be worth spending a little more effort on your own in exchange for more popularity. Thinking of this, Seongda retracted his hand and smiled mysteriously at the camera. There must be fish, there must be fish, seeing how confident the anchor looks, there must be something there. It's just that this gap is a bit too small. Even if there is a fish in it, you can't catch it. Do you have to move the whole stone? I don't think so. This gap is too small. What kind of fish can be hidden in it? Anchor, hurry up and check to see if there are any fish in it. Don't the anchors still have their staff with them? Just ask the staff to come down. A few people can move the rocks, right? The atmosphere in the live broadcast room was aroused. Some viewers guessed that there was no fish, while others guessed that there was fish. Viewers who speculated that there was a fish were constantly making suggestions for the host. Watching the popularity gradually increase in the live broadcast room, gifts appeared again, and there were several large rewards. Seongda felt happy in his heart. The three small fish, who thought they were no longer in danger, were now in fear again. Depend on. Why haven't you left yet? Sutingyu complained silently in his heart. Could it be that people outside really want to turn over the entire reef? If they really do this, then Sutingyu and the others will really have no way to hide. When he was looking for this kind of shelter, Sutingyu also took a special look at this reef, which was a relatively large one. Even two adult men may not be able to move it. However, besides these two anchors, there are several staff members outside. Maybe they still have tools. If they really want to pry open the reef, the three poor little fish will be in danger. Under such intense reactions from the audience in the live broadcast room, Seongda said that he must satisfy all the viewers in the live broadcast room. Seongda first tried to push this rock by himself. But after trying several times, the rock still remained motionless. So, Seongda called Seong-er to help. The two of them pushed together, but unfortunately, the rock remained motionless, not even moving. There was no other way, Seongda could only ask the staff to come over and help. Then, Seong-er held photography equipment on the side and conducted live broadcast shooting. The four staff members plus Seongda make a total of 5 adult men. This time, this big rock was finally shaken. Moving, finally moving. How big must this reef be? It takes 5 people to push it. Are there any fish? Are there any fish? Did you see any fish? At this time, Sutingyu and the others who were staying on the reef were feeling very uncomfortable. I only felt the ground shaking for a while, as if the sky was about to fall. They aren't really turning this rock over, are they? Close to the stone wall first, be careful not to be thrown out. Because of these shakings, a lot of the water in the small puddle prepared by Sutingyu and the others was shaken out. It's quick. It's quick. Everyone, work harder. Seongda loosened his hands and moved his position. He looked towards the bottom of the reef, hoping to see some fish. At this moment, Seongda's peripheral vision saw what seemed to be a black figure under the water. The movement here also alerted the black shadow, who only saw a swish before running away. Seongda was immediately attracted. Seongda shouted, "Wait a minute! Wait a minute! There seems to be a big fish there." As he said that, Seongda stretched out his finger and pointed in one direction. Seong-er reacted quickly, then moved the camera and pointed it in the direction pointed by Seongda. The audience in the live broadcast room was a little surprised by this turn of events, but they quickly became interested again. Where are the fish? Hey, I saw it, such a big one. Is this a sea bass? It seems to be a real sea bass. Seongda made a quick and accurate move and caught the bass in one go. Wow, this bass is longer than my arm. Seongda gestured twice to the camera. At this time, the bass was still struggling fiercely. Let go. Let me go. The bass screamed in panic, but unfortunately, it was as if there was no sound in Seongda's ears. But Sutingyu heard it clearly. It seems that this bass is also a player. It was just too unlucky that if he hadn't suddenly jumped out, maybe no one would have seen him. It is estimated that this bass player is hiding on the edge of that reef. Just because my mentality was a little unstable, I thought if I could try my luck, I could just run away. Unfortunately, the sharp-eyed Seongda still saw it. After displaying it for more than 10 seconds, Seongda threw the bass into the plastic box. Players currently still within the puddle, 35. Sutingyu, who had escaped the disaster, slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Now, the attention of the audience in the live broadcast room has been successfully transferred. Seong-er also changed the shooting angle and stopped shooting the reef. Next, Seongda found zebrafish elsewhere, which satisfied the wishes of the viewers in the live broadcast room. Huh? There is a nest of zebrafish here, all of good size. It's almost as big as a palm. If you look at this kind of zebrafish, it's already the largest. While explaining, Seongda put all the 5 members of the zebrafish family into a plastic box. Daily tasks 1/1. Daily tasks 5/5, completed. A family of 5, neatly arranged. After searching most of the puddles, Seongda felt a little exhausted. Seongda is also a little confused. Why are these fish today so full of energy and so difficult to catch? Several times, he lost his grip and almost escaped with the fish. Moreover, each of these fish seems to have become sperm, and they are simply too evasive. There were many times, if it weren't for the sharp eyes of the viewers in the live broadcast room, he might have missed some fish. "Brother, let me do it," Seong-er said at this time. Seongda readily agreed, because he also wanted to take a rest first. "Okay, let me do it for you. I will take the photography equipment." Under the water, those fish players who had not yet been caught began to curse after hearing the bad news. Hateful. Don't talk about martial ethics. Actually playing relay. However, no matter how much they cursed, the humans outside could not hear them. On the contrary, if you get too excited, your position may be exposed. Seong-er fished into the water and caught a finger-long fish. "This fish is too small, I won't catch it, just release it." When the other fish players heard this, they immediately became envious. Especially those fish that are relatively large. Originally, they thought at first that the players were competing for resources and surviving for 2 days. At that time, I was still feeling complacent about my size. But now, they all wish they were just an insignificant little shrimp. Players still within the puddle, 20. After Seong-er finished looking for the puddle on the other side, the live broadcast was coming to an end. Seongda said, "It's getting dark soon. We have to prepare to go back. The tide will rise tonight. Let's take stock of today's harvest first. Many of these fish today are very powerful and in very good condition, but they are also very difficult to catch." Seongda found a flat reef surface and poured out all the fish in the plastic box. After pouring out the plastic box, the fish inside kept jumping around. If you are an audience who has been watching our live broadcast, you should have discovered that usually I can catch all the fish in the pit by myself, but today, I ask Seong-er to catch it. However, all the efforts are useful. Look at this box full of fish. I will make a fortune. Ha ha ha. Seongda was laughing loudly, and accidentally, a pearl spot suddenly bounced a few times and jumped directly into the puddle again. The expressions of the two brothers, Seong-dakshin and Seong, changed. "This pearl spot is worth hundreds of dollars. Anchor, anchor, the fish ran away, the fish ran away. Go and catch it, go and catch it." The audience in the live broadcast room saw this dramatic scene. After a brief shock, they also sent barrages to remind the live broadcast. This kind of thing is exciting. Every time I catch fish in a proper manner, some old viewers can't help but get bored after watching it too much. Moreover, every time the fish is poured out, many viewers sometimes wonder, why can't the fish take the opportunity to jump back? But every time these fish disappoint the audience, they just jump around in place. This time, the audience's wish was fulfilled. It's not just a pearl spot, it's like it's been agreed upon. All kinds of bass, 8-clawed crabs, turtles, etc. are all jumping into the puddle desperately. For a moment, both brothers were in a hurry. "Quick, quick. Don't let the fish get away. Here, here. And here." The timing of his escape was well mastered. Unfortunately, there is a natural gap between people and fish. Soon, all the escaped fish were caught one by one, but one crab was missing. When Seongdakshin caught all the escaped fish again, he counted the number and looked dumbfounded. Seongda, wait, why do you feel so much? Seong it seems. The two checked it carefully and found that there were 2 more red grains and 1 baogong. As for the crab that escaped, it was just a bargain, and the loss was negligible. Is this collective escape of fish a good thing? At this time, the fish players who were caught were blaming each other, especially the 3 fish that were implicated. You just run away. Why do you want me to run here? Damn. What the hell? You must be sick. Disaster. What a disaster. The other fish players who were scolded also immediately broke the pot and threw it away. They were all eliminated anyway. How could they continue to be so arrogant? Haha. So you didn't hide it well enough? Do you blame me? You deserve it. You just saw these people leaving. Are you glad? What's the result? He. In the eyes of the viewers in the live broadcast room, these fish reacted fiercely, but they couldn't tell that they were abusing each other, but they watched it with gusto. Finally, the 2 brothers took a fishing boat and left the chicken head pit. In the crevice of the reef, Sutingya glanced at the panel that jumped out again. Players currently still within the puddle, 11. Hiss. There are only 11 players left. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 1001. Cheng Xian asked, with the humans outside gone, are we no longer in danger? Cheng Shan also breathed a sigh of relief. Yes, the tide will rise tonight, and soon there will be water in the puddle again. High tide. Sutingyu's eyes widened. Tonight's high tide means we can't get out of the puddle. The dungeon mission is to keep us in the puddle. Only then did the 2 siblings react. It's just a high tide, should it be okay? We are fish now, and we are not afraid of being drowned by the rising tide. The 2 siblings said uncertainly. Really? Logically speaking, fish should not drown in water. It's just an ordinary high tide, what danger can there be? There is only a little water left in the crevices of the reef. Fortunately, the crevices are very humid and will not be exposed to direct sunlight. It is almost dark now. At this time, there was only a little water left in the puddle, and the fish that had not been taken away were also hiding in the little puddle, silently praying that it would get dark quickly and the tide would rise quickly. But at this time, a bird call came from the sky. At some point, 5 seabirds were hovering in the sky above the puddle. This, bird sound. The bird, should not be visible. As soon as the players had some fantasy, a seabird in the sky seemed to have found its target. It was as straight as an arrow and flew down quickly. As soon as he raised his paw, he firmly caught a red spot that had just escaped from the stone peak and swam into the small pool outside. Then, the seabird took off again, landed on a flat reef, and began to enjoy its food. Ah! Don't! Help! Help! The miserable cry of the captured red spot player rang in the ears of the remaining players, and gradually, there was no sound. But other players can imagine it. The seabird used its sharp beak to disembowel the red-spotted player bit by bit, and finally ate it into its belly. After this incident, those fish players who were originally greedy for the little water outside were now frightened and twisted their bodies, trying to get back under the cracks in the reef. But then, the other circling seabirds locked their target and flew down quickly. Ah! Don't eat me. Players currently still within the puddle, 7. Finally, after the seabirds completely left, the few remaining fish players finally breathed a sigh of relief. Now, even if there is still water outside, I don't dare to go out anymore. I can only continue to hide in the shelter and wait quietly for time to pass by. Copy time, 2000 hours. It was completely dark. The calm sea also began to show signs of rising tide. Even, some sea water poured into this puddle before. Here it comes, the tide is coming. Listening to the sound of the waves outside, Sutinyu propped up her body. Copy time, 2200 hours. The turbulent sea began to rise, and the marine creatures lurking on the beach emerged one by one, preparing to return to the sea where they depended for survival. The waves were getting higher and higher. In the ocean, countless marine creatures dance with the sea. Fishing boats at sea have also returned urgently. Copy time, midnight. At this time, the puddle where the players are located has been filled with sea water, and all fish players are out of the crisis of water shortage. There are only 6 or 7 hours left before the copy ends. When the morning sun shines on the sea, it is time for the players to return to reality. In the crevices of the rocks, the two brothers and sisters swam several times before they stopped feeling the instinctive excitement of fish. Teacher, do we want to go out now? Sutinyu spit out a few bubbles. No, since it's safe here, just stay until the dungeon ends. There's no need to go out. Two siblings, yeah. I don't know how long it took, but Sutinyu suddenly smelled the smell of blood. The smell of blood? Are any fish injured? Sutinyu immediately became wary. Teacher, outside. The two brothers and sister also smelled the fishy smell and became restless. So listen to the fish scraper hanging on the edge of the reef and listen to the noise outside. No player's voice was heard, and the smell of blood should not come from other players. At this time, a huge black shadow swam across Sutinyu's eyes, startling her. That's a shark. Did the shark come in with the tide? Come on, come on, come on. Sutinyu swam back quickly and explained the situation to the two brothers and sisters. I saw a shark outside. It must have just been washed in by the tide. Shark? No way. Sutinyu comforted the two siblings. It's okay, it's okay. The shark is so big that it can't get in. However, we have to be careful about other sea creatures that can get in. With such a small gap, if any large crabs come randomly, they can be pinched off in a few clicks. After the tide rises, fish players are freed from the danger of water shortage. However, what follows is the threat of more ferocious marine life. This night is not a Christmas Eve either. The fish players were terrified, fearing that if they were not careful, a big fish would jump out in front of them and swallow them whole. This feeling of being in danger of life anytime and anywhere is very uncomfortable. Sutinyu and the other three fishes can take turns being on guard when they are together, so they can feel more relaxed. But if there are some fish players who only have one fish of their own, they can only stay vigilant and dare not fall asleep. Copy time, 7:30. The sky has completely brightened up. Without the darkness of night, the danger in the puddle seems to have decreased. Inside the crevices of the rocks, Sutinyu, who was standing guard, blew a bubble out of boredom. He caught a glimpse of the updated dungeon time out of the corner of his eye, and instantly became energetic. Copy time is over. The next second, the panels of all surviving players popped up. Congratulations to all players for successfully clearing Fishery Horror. All players will be sent out a copy in 10 seconds. Whoa! Can I finally get out of this hellish place? That's so damn good. The surviving players were ecstatic and kept complaining about this round of dungeons. The two brothers and sisters who were woken up by Sutinyu also saw the content on the panel. While excited, they also began to thank Sutinyu. Teacher, thank you. In this round of dungeons, Sutinyu was also experienced, so they were able to get through this round of dungeons so easily. You're welcome, Sutinyu chuckled. In the future, you will have to rely on yourselves for the dungeons. Keep working hard and survive. He helped everyone he could, and Sutinyu had completely completed his mission. As for the next copy, it depends on the two brothers and sisters themselves. We will definitely remember what the teacher taught us. Source of inspiration for the copy: I often see some short videos of going out to sea to make nests, and I suddenly wonder, what would happen if the players turned into those fish? About the dungeon name, all I can think of is the horror of the nest, which is too tacky, so I made it a bit more headline grabbing and called the horror of the fishing ground, but it's not a fishing ground. Ouch, who came up with this? What a smart guy. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1002. Chapter 995. Master. The main mission is completed, the copy has been cleared, and the rewards are being settled. Get experience points 300, game coins 500, lucky draw opportunities *2. Autonomous degree of clearance, 90%, experience gained 180, game currency 90, lucky draw opportunity *1. Contribution for clearance, 95%, experience gained 190, game currency 95, lucky draw opportunity *1. Dungeon exploration degree, 60%, experience gained 300, game currency 120, lucky draw opportunity *1. Congratulations on winning the junior title, blowing bubbles. Function: you can blow colorful bubbles in the water, which looks very beautiful. Remarks: beautiful and dreamy. It is a must-have artifact for little fairies, but it is useless. Your title Halo has reached 6. If you want to have a new Halo title, please delete one of the Halo titles you already have. Please select. Settlement completed. Sutinyu glanced at his settlement panel. Instead of looking carefully as usual, he switched to the inventory. When Sutinyu checked the Death Blade's information, he found that the contract spirit directly showed temporarily empty. Suddenly, a wave of anger rose up. Sutinyu directly exited the settlement space. In the room. As soon as Sutinyu came back, she immediately opened the small bedroom reserved for Lucifer in the outer closet. Then, as expected, I saw Lucifer facing the computer screen. This guy even has headphones. Lu, 11, fought. Sutinyu pulled the headphones off the computer socket. Lucifer turned around and saw Sutinyu, and asked, "Are you going to another world?" "Haha. I just came back," Sutinyu complained. "Ah," Lucifer blinked his golden eyes dully. "Come back. What do you want to take? What did you leave behind?" Lucifer still looked confused beyond the situation. After following the drama for 10 consecutive days, even a god's eyes are a little tired, but the brain is in a polarized state of sluggish to respond to other things, but extremely sensitive to fanatical things. The newly born god said, "This feeling is very interesting, and he wants to study it further." "What did I lose?" Sutinyu rolled up his sleeves with an angry look on his face. "What else can I lose? I just lost a little bastard." As soon as he finished speaking, Sutinyu stretched out his right hand and directly grabbed the collar of the rag doll-like god. He closed the computer with a snap with his left hand. "What are you doing?" Seeing that the computer was turned off and the TV series was no longer visible, the little rag doll god's face became restless, and his hands and feet were waving wildly in the air. "What are you talking about?" Sutinyu sneered on his face when he saw that Lucifer still didn't realize the seriousness of the matter. So, he began to move his hands up and down, poking and squeezing Lucifer's bulging face. "Don't you watch a TV show without checking the time? I've entered the dungeon. Now it's out again. What about you? You are here drinking comfortably and watching TV series. I was so scared in the dungeon. When I wanted to find you, I found that you were gone. Do you know that I'm almost hanging in the copy? You're still drinking, right? Are you still watching TV? Are you still asking me what I'm doing? Are you still angry at me?" Lucifer, whose face was almost crushed, gilug gilug gilug, can no longer make a complete sound. Sutingu's tearful accusations made Lucifer finally remember the business. He seemed, maybe, probably forgot about little Susu. After Sutingu had vented his anger enough, he threw Lucifer onto the soft bed. Lucifer climbed up in a hurry, holding the bed with his little hands, and glanced at Sutingu's face, which seemed not to be good. He said in a low voice, "I was wrong." Sutingu sat down on the edge of the bed, folded her arms and looked angry. "Little Susu." Lucifer crawled over, gently hooked the corner of Sutingu's clothes with his little hand, and then gently pulled it twice. "Huh." Sutingu moved her butt and turned her head to the side. Lucifer bit his cheek and began to complain about a certain him in his heart. "Why didn't you remind me?" At this time, he was also very unjust. I was clearly reminded, and more than once. But you said it, don't let it buzz in your head. Lucifer now feels a little guilty and urgently needs someone to take the blame. "I don't care, it was all your fault." Yes, my fault. He has nothing to do, so what else can he do? Little Susu. Lucifer ran to the other side of Sutingu, blinked his golden eyes, and pulled up the latter's clothes again. "I was wrong." Sutingu thought it was almost done, so she deliberately asked with a cold face, "What's wrong?" "I shouldn't have forgotten to go to another world with you just because I was following the drama." Lucifer's attitude in admitting his mistake was very serious and sincere. "Won't you do it again?" No. Must. Definitely. Lucifer was afraid that Sutingu would not let him continue to watch the drama and drink because of this incident, so he quickly promised. Then a hint of cunning flashed in Sutingu's eyes. She stretched out her hand and picked up Lucifer. "Just call me master and I won't be angry." After all, she is a bonded spirit, so calling her master is not too much, right? Now that he is familiar with it, Lucifer no longer calls him human one after another. After watching too many TV series, he was very interested in hearing some strange names in them, so he called him Little Susu. When Lucifer heard this, he felt that as long as he called him by name, Little Susu would not be angry and could continue to watch dramas and drink for him. It was a good deal. "Master!" Lucifer shouted without any psychological burden. He, who was watching all this silently, fell into a honeyed silence. At this time, Sutingu suddenly felt happy. He. I am also very angry, but God calls me master. Ahem. Sutingu put Lucifer down. "I'll let you go this time." Lucifer breathed a sigh of relief. He can continue watching dramas. However, from now on, you can't watch dramas for more than 12 hours a day, and you must go to bed at 10 o'clock in the evening. Lucifer's eyes widened and he asked eagerly, "What about Fatty's TV show after 10 o'clock? I can't watch it either." "That's right. I'll ask the fat man not to watch it after 10 o'clock. Maybe he will go back to his room to watch it." Lucifer's face fell. "Can you give me a little more time?" "No," Sutingu refused very cruelly. "Also, hurry up and catch up on my sleep now." Ah. What? You've been watching it for several days, right? Are you not sleeping? Go back to the death blade quickly." Lucifer lingered, obviously not wanting to go back. Upon seeing this, Sutingu took him back to the inventory and said, "Go to bed quickly. I will let you out at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning." Lucifer, whose opposition was ineffective, could only be taken back. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1003. After dealing with Lucifer's matter, Sutingu had time to carefully review the settlement contents. The rewards are so-so and can be ignored. But what is this blowing bubbles? That's it? It's of no use at all. Sutingu from Little Fairy Bengzian said, "Little fairies would not like such flashy things. The 6 Halo titles that Sutinyu currently possesses are: Junior title, Tricky Hands to Produce Flowers. Intermediate title, Ghosts Give Birth to Nightmares, the Drama Queen Basic Demolition Maniac. Senior title, Kids King. Master level title, Top 10 Good Guys. The player's 6 Halo titles are all available, and Sutinyu is currently unable to obtain the remaining Halo titles unless a 1-to-1 replacement is performed. However, most of Sutinyu's Halo titles were of relatively low levels, and the only 2 Halo titles he had upgraded were only upgraded from elementary to intermediate, which was not enough. Halo titles correspond to specific events. That is to say, as long as you do more of a specific event in the dungeon, you can accumulate experience and meet the upgrade standards, Sutinyu pondered. These Halo titles are still somewhat useful. Destroying Flowers with Dangerous Hands and Ghostborn Nightmare both help Sutinyu better control the angel residents and little broken flowers under his hands. Kids King lets Sutinyu increase her initial favorability when she meets a child NPC. Top 10 Good Guys is even more awesome. It is not just like the first 3 Halo titles, which can only be effective on specific groups, but all NPCs encountered can increase the initial favorability. The 2 with the highest levels may not be able to be upgraded in a short period of time. Let's find a way to improve the 4 lower levels first. However, if you get a better Halo title in the future, you can choose to change it. Sutinyu closed the settlement panel and exited. He found that the 2 students he had graduated from had sent words of thanks after returning to the real world. For this kind of mutual aid task, the final submission step is determined by the party being helped. As soon as the 2 brothers and sisters come out, they submit and confirm. After the staff confirmed it, they directly transferred the reward to Sutinyu. Sutinyu can just click Receive Now. The rewards are not very large, mainly in response to the official mutual aid plan. This matter has come to an end here. Knock knock. At this time, there was a knock on the door of Sutinyu's room. Sutinyu walked over and opened the door. As expected, Chin-Chi and Fatty came over. Have you completed your tasks? Sutinyu asked casually. It's done, boss. Sutinyu turned sideways and let the 2 of them in. Huh? Where's Lucifer? The fat man was holding 2 large bags of drinks in his hands and was about to go find Lucifer, but the little guy was nowhere to be seen in the room. Oh, I put him to sleep. He has been watching TV series for several days without sleeping. I'm afraid that he will die suddenly. When Lucifer was mentioned, Sutinyu couldn't help complaining. Fat man, please pay attention to your time in the future. He is still a child. The TV series will be turned off at 10 o'clock in the evening. If you don't show it to him, let him go to bed immediately. Oh, okay, I'll pay attention. Fatty hadn't noticed before that Lucifer actually watched the TV series for several days and nights in a row. Usually at night, Fatty feels sleepy and wants to sleep, so he goes back to his room. However, seeing that Lucifer was still reading, I couldn't hold back and let him continue reading. Every time before leaving, Fatty always told Lucifer to go to bed early. I originally thought that Lucifer would be obedient due to his well-behaved appearance, but I didn't expect that he would watch him for several days and nights. Really, people cannot be judged by their appearance. Sure enough, children all over the world are the same, they cannot resist the temptation of electronic products. These drinks, just put them here first. Sutinyu took the 2 big bags of drinks. Sutinyu didn't intend to disturb Lucifer, who should have fallen asleep, and would give him a surprise after the latter woke up. With the task of teaching students completed, Sutinyu suddenly felt that she had free time. Fatty himself couldn't stay idle, so he planned to find a volunteer job in the base. I usually work when I have something to do, and watch dramas with Lucifer when I have nothing to do. I also make drinks and feed Lucifer. Sutinyu had no objection to Fatty's arrangement. And Sutinyu himself had other plans. She got so many flowers and plants in the Mid-Autumn Reunion copy, and she has already picked out the part that can be used to refine magic potions. With the materials in hand, Sutingyu planned to refine the potion. Kikai, what are your plans and plans? Sutingyu looked at Qin-Chi. Sutingyu and Fatty both have things they want to do, so Qin-Chi is the only one left. Brother Qin, do you want to do volunteer work with me? Fatty suggested. I'm working right now, Qin-Chi stated in a steady voice. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes. It seems, right, I forgot. Qin-Chi was originally assigned the task of protecting himself, but now that Sutingyu was in the base, Qin-Chi's protection was not needed for the time being. Sutingyu was going to retreat to improve the magician level, so he wouldn't have to run around. If Qin-Chi was allowed to stay with him, wouldn't the former be too boring? So, Sutingyu said, how about this, Kikai, if I stay in the room all the time refining the magic potion, there is no danger. During this period, you can do what you want to do. If I want to go out, I'll let you know, okay? Qin-Chi thought for a moment and nodded, okay. Then it's settled. After the three of them went to have lunch, Fatty went to pick up the volunteer task. Sutingyu went back to the room to prepare the magic potion, and Qin-Chi also went to do his own business. Sutingyu's current magician level is only at the intermediate level. As the difficulty of the dungeon increases, the potions that he could refine in the past are basically useless. Nowadays, most of the people who can help Sutingyu clear the dungeon are high-level potions. But the problem is that Sutingyu doesn't know how to refine high-level potions yet, so he has been consuming the high-end potions given by the teacher and is almost running out. Sutingyu actually has some master-level magic potions, which were also given by the teacher. Those things are even more precious. Sutingyu was reluctant to use it until the critical moment. Sutingyu has been promoted from a junior magician to an intermediate magician for some time, and now he plans to attack the senior magician. If you can be promoted to a high-level magician, then you can be self-sufficient with high-level potions. If the materials collected in the giant garden are not enough, Sutingyu can also use game currency to purchase the required materials in the mall. In addition, the materials for upgrading the storage ring are basically complete. However, there is one thing missing, and that material has purchase restrictions in the mall, and only players who have entered a certain round of dungeons can purchase it. Sutingyu had sent so many flowers and plants to the official before, so she should be able to exchange for that thing. If she could exchange for it, then her storage ring could be upgraded. In terms of materials, there is basically no problem. But if the storage ring needs to be upgraded, Sutingyu's magician level must reach at least an advanced level before he can upgrade the storage ring. Therefore, Sutingyu's recent goal is to become a high-level magician as soon as possible. Generally, there are two ways to become a senior magician. One is to work hard on magic, and the other is to work hard on pharmacy. Sutingyu chose the latter. To become a high-level magician, you not only need to improve your proficiency and be able to skillfully refine existing high-level magic potions, but you also need to create your own magic potions. You must create at least 2 of them to be considered a high-level magician. However, Sutingyu's current primary goal is to improve his proficiency first. Then learn to refine all the advanced potions given by the teacher, and finally consider the homemade magic potion. 3 days later, Sutingyu was frantically refining potions to improve her proficiency when she suddenly received a message from someone who knew Puyo and asked her to come out to meet. Sutingyu thought for a moment and felt that there might be news about Hua Hua Cao from before. So, Sutingyu went out. When we went to the place agreed upon by Siepuyu, only Siepuyu was there. Sutingyu asked knowingly, "Why are you looking for me?" "See you, the materials you submitted to the officials before have been explained," Siepuyu said. Sutingyu, "What does the official say?" "The batch of materials you submitted is of high value. What do you want to exchange for it?" "The first one, I want to change. Sutinyu didn't forget the promise she made to Lucifer before, which was to change TV series, movies, animations, and games. After hearing this, Siepuyo looked stunned for a few seconds. What? Did he hear it correctly? A batch of game items with such high value were actually exchanged for movies, TV series, games, and animations. Are you sure you're not joking? Siepuyo asked. He felt like he had heard wrongly. However, Sutinyu nodded firmly, I'm not kidding, just tell me if the official has it. Siepuyo glanced at Sutinyu with complicated eyes, yes, there should be some. After all, they are considered products of human civilization, and they must retain some fire. Just if human civilization encounters something unexpected, like the mass extinction of the dinosaurs hundreds of millions of years ago, then humans will also hope to retain some traces of humans' past presence in this world. Maybe, in the next billions of years, another intelligent creature will be born and stand at the top of the biological chain. They may also, like humans, discover traces of the past dinosaur existence and then unearth dinosaur civilization. By then, the entire human civilization can continue to be recorded in history. Siepuyo said helplessly, okay, since you insist on that, I will report it to the official side. Sutinyu added, I also need some other game items, I will make a list and send it to you when the time comes. It contains the game items I need. If it can be exchanged, then help me exchange it. If not, forget it. Just exchange the rest for game currency for me. Okay, then you can send it to me on the panel. Siepuyo remembered something, by the way, there is one more thing. The official side will apply for a quota for you. Quota? What quota? Sutinyu asked curiously. Siepuyo explained, the guys who are doing research above have made some progress recently. They have analyzed the things in the dungeon world and the mall system many times and come up with some new things. If there are any results, you can get one first. Sutinyu raised an eyebrow, is that thing safe? Is it safe? It sounds interesting. When I was looking at top secret files before, I also saw someone proposing to use more advanced civilizations from other worlds to develop Blue Star's civilization. Unexpectedly, not long after the public beta started, some people have already begun to study it. Those that have gone through multiple performance tests are said to be given priority. What do you think? Siepuyo shrugged and said. Sutinyu was speechless. Cut. It's just a guinea pig. As soon as Siepuyo saw Sutinyu's expression, she guessed what she was thinking, and could only say a few words of relief, don't dislike the things made by the superiors. Not everyone has it. They saw that you were able to produce so many valuable materials and wanted to cooperate with you for a long time, so they gave you a place. Don't worry. Although those people have a little weird temperament, they still have abilities. Maybe you can get something pretty good by then. As a member of the Non-Order Institute, Siepuyo has no self-awareness at all, and dares to call others weird. In fact, he himself is also a weirdo in some aspects. Sutinyu touched his nose, okay then, I'll just look forward to it a little bit. Anyway, it's just a quota, and it's not mandatory to use it. Siepuyo thought for a while and said, actually, the reason why the people above started researching so anxiously is because of a concern. The reason for the emergence of parallel paradise has not yet been clarified. Although there are no problems with the game items produced by parallel paradise yet, we are still cautious. If one day, all these game items have problems, then human beings will there be any impact from this? Hearing this, Sutinyu was stunned for a moment. This concern is indeed not without reason. Since parallel paradise can give players so many game items, they may be able to take them back at any time. Only when you are truly powerful can you be powerful. After all, the game items in parallel paradise are just external forces. Although with human technology and current environmental conditions, starting to study game items for parallel parks sounds a bit fanciful and not unbelievable. However, it is indeed necessary. Otherwise, when something goes wrong, humans will be unprepared and will be helpless. Sutingyu was silent for a moment. She suddenly thought of the dream restoration potion. If one day, the effect of the dream restoration potion suddenly disappears, then Kikai, will he become the same as before? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1004. Gu Xiaju opened his eyes drowsily, turned around and saw Gu Yan standing guard next to him. Master. Gu Xiaju quickly stood up. Gu Yan raised his hand and felt the pulse on Gu Xiaju's wrist. Wake up. Master, wasn't I at that altar? Why am I here now? Gu Xiaju glanced around and found that he was in the room. 3 days ago, you received Hai Ling's blessing. You couldn't bear it and fell into a temporary coma. How do you feel now? Gu Yan asked with concern. Gu Xiaju felt his current physical condition, and there was nothing wrong with it except that he was still smaller. It's all good, Gu Xiaju said it truthfully. Well, that's good. Gu Yan's face relaxed a little. Stay here a little longer. You can absorb this blessing for a while, and then we can leave here. Gu Xiaju nodded. Okay. Why does it feel like the master of the house has become gentler? It's his illusion. Gu Xiaju thought of this and threw herself on the soft quilt, rubbing her face gently against the surface of the quilt. This is what he's wanted all along. However, now it feels very unreal. Are you dreaming? Gu Xiaju raised his head and saw that the owner of the house had stood up and left the house without looking towards him, so he pinched his palm secretly. Painful. It really hurts. This is not a dream, this is real. Gu Xiaju felt indescribably happy, but she was also a little worried. Will the head of the family always be like this? It's better to wait until we return to Blue Star, and it will be the same as before. A trace of disappointment flashed in Gu Xiaju's eyes, but he soon recovered. No matter what, as long as the head of the family still needs him. If only. Just need him. In the next few days, after Justin volunteered, he came to help Gu Xiaju digest this blessing. Little guy, you are really lucky. This is a blessing from the sea spirit. Not all ocean people have the opportunity to get it. You have to take advantage of it. As a marine man who regards sea spirits as gods, Justin seemed very excited. What exactly does this blessing do? Gu Xiaju asked. When it comes to its specific function, Justin is a little confused. He scratched his head. I can't say for sure, but Hai Ling's blessing is based on individual circumstances and then gives the most appropriate blessing. For example, if this person is born mute or blind, or is born with poor health, if he receives a blessing, these illnesses will most likely be cured. If you are lacking in talent in a certain area, blessings will most likely help you make up for it. That's it? Gu Xiaju was stunned for a moment and couldn't help but think deeply. Is this also within the expectations of the householder? It's probably unlikely. Justin has already said that not everyone has the blessing of Hai Ling, not to mention that he is just an outsider. I don't know why I received this blessing. Justin told Gu Xiaju about the fusion experiences left by some seniors in the clan who had been blessed by the sea spirit. When it was almost time for dinner, Gu Yan came earlier than usual. Master, when Gu Xiaju saw Gu Yan coming, he trotted over with his short legs. Gu Yan bent down and picked up the child. Xiaju, I will take you somewhere. When Justin saw this, he said goodbye to Gu Xiaju. Little guy, I will go find you tomorrow. Gu Xiaju, yeah. These days, Justin has nothing to say about Gu Xiaju's attitude, and the latter is not as cold-faced as he was at first. After Guyan left with Gu Xiaoju, he asked Gu Xiaoju to cover his eyes and couldn't open them halfway. Although Gu Xiaoju was confused, he still obeyed and did not peek. After walking a certain distance, Gu Xiaoju noticed that the owner of the house had stopped. Guyan's voice sounded, "Open your eyes and take a look." Gu Xiaoju opened his eyes obediently. But in front of him, it was pitch black. This is a very dark secret room where you can't see your fingers. In the past, when Gu Xiaoju was in such a closed and dark space, he would feel endless panic in his heart. But the strange thing is that this time he didn't feel panic. "Master, it's a little dark here." Gu Xiaoju nuzzled into Guyan's arms. "Is it because the head of the family is around? Are you still scared?" Guyan asked softly. "Master, I'm not afraid," Gu Xiaoju replied quickly. "The head of the house doesn't like cowards. He wasn't afraid in the first place." Guyan stroked the child's head. "Well, I won't be afraid anymore. The effect of blessing seems to be very good, and it can subtly eliminate the shadow in the heart of the person being blessed." What Guyan knew, he always knew. Xiaoju's personality is actually more like his mother's, gentle and gentle. Although he will be wary of strangers, he is very gentle and delicate to the people around him. Sometimes, he can be a little timid. However, his Xiaoju has always been forced to maintain an attitude of being indifferent to everything, suppressing his nature and distorting his character. And it was him who caused all these mistakes. One day, Gu Xiaoju got up early. He rubbed his eyes and subconsciously looked at the place next to him. No one. Where is the head of the family? These days, whenever Gu Xiaoju opens his eyes, he can see the head of the family beside him. But this time, the owner was not seen, which surprised Gu Xiaoju. Gu Xiaoju jumped out of bed by himself, and then began to wash his teeth, wash his face, put on clothes and shoes. Because Gu Xiaoju is little now, Guyan also specially prepared a set of toiletries for children. At first, Gu Xiaoju was a little ashamed. Later, when I used it more, I forgot about that little bit of shame. Anyway, except for the head of the family, no one is his acquaintance. Gu Xiaoju sat in the room waiting for Guyan, but after waiting for a long time, Guyan didn't come back, and she couldn't help but feel a little confused. Where did the head of the family go? "Little guy, are you up? I'm here to find you again." Justin's voice came from outside the door. After Gu Xiaoju heard this, he walked over and opened the door. Justin was alone outside the door. Guyan was not seen. Gu Xiaoju was immediately disappointed. "Hey, little guy, what are you looking at?" Justin just glanced at Gu Xiaoju when he saw him, and then he looked away without interest and kept looking behind him, as if he was searching. "What?" Seeing that he was coming from outside, Gu Xiaoju asked, "Have you seen the head of the family?" "Huh? Isn't Mr. Gu not here? I just came here and I didn't see him." Justin shook his head. "By the way, little guy, why do you always call Mr. Gu the head of the family? Is this the unique way you mainlanders call your father?" Hearing this, Gu Xiaoju's eyes darkened slightly. "There's no reason, it's just that he doesn't have the qualifications to call." "It's nothing, I like it, can't you?" Gu Xiaoju's mood became depressed, and his tone became not so good. Okay. Justin suddenly remembered something. "By the way, I may know a place where Mr. Gu should be. These days, I seem to see him going to a certain place in the clan." Gu Xiaoju was very confused. "Where is the head of the family going?" "Okay, you take me there." "Little guy, why don't you call me brother and listen?" Gu Xiaoju said with a cold face. "Haha. Ahem, okay, I'll take you there right now." Justin touched his nose, feeling a little depressed. Why doesn't this little guy like himself? Obviously he is very popular among the children in the clan. It's so weird, so weird. Are you there yet? Gu Xiaju believed Justin's words and followed the ladder out. Along the way, Gu Xiaju asked repeated questions several times. Come on, it's just ahead. Justin pointed. The elders have not allowed us to enter there, but these days, Mr. Gu can come and go freely. Ahead, there is a small, quiet, and hidden palace. There was no one around. When I first came here, I saw a sign saying no idlers allowed on the road. When Gu Xiaju heard this, he immediately wondered if Justin himself wanted to come and have a look, so he came to him. Let's go in and have a look. Justin was naturally curious about what was inside, and asked Gu Xiaju to go inside. Seeing this, Gu Xiaju had no choice but to follow. Inside the palace. The further we walked inside, the more deserted it became, as if there was no one inside. Suddenly, at a corner, Gu Xiaju seemed to hear Gu Yan's voice coming from a room in front of him. Gu Xiaju quickly ran over, raised his head, and looked in through the window. But when he saw the situation inside clearly, he was shocked. In the room, Gu Yan sat in front of a woman wearing a white gauze skirt, looking at the latter with soft eyes. This is breakfast this morning. Ian, which one do you like? Have some. The woman was silent. She was sitting on a hanging chair indoors, holding two beautiful dolls that looked like babies in her arms. The woman ignored the person in front of her and just kept her head down, staring quietly at the baby in her arms. That's, Aunt. Gu Xiaju slowly opened her cat eyes. Aunt. Really, Aunt? That's right, since the head of the family is still alive, then the aunt will definitely be alive too. However, Gu Xiaju never expected that he would meet his aunt here. Did the head of the family bring his aunt here early in the morning? Who? Gu Yan noticed someone nearby. Gu Xiaju quickly retracted his head, feeling very panicked. I can't let the head of the family know that I'm here. The head of the family won't like me appearing in front of my aunt. Gu Xiaju wanted to run away immediately, but was held back by Justin. Justin didn't think much about it. Since he was discovered, he should come out generously. Mr. Gu, it's us. Justin pulled Gu Xiaju and walked to the door. I was afraid that Xiaju would be bored, so I took him out for a walk. Justin took the initiative to take responsibility, fearing that Mr. Gu would wrongly blame Xiaju. Gu Xiaju, no. I don't want to go out. It's a pity that Justin couldn't hear Gu Xiaju's thoughts. The latter was now in the body of a child and had no ability to resist, so he was pulled out by Justin. Sensing Gu Yan's glance, Gu Xiaju hurriedly lowered his head and hid behind Justin. Xiaju, come here. I thought I would hear a scolding in the next second, but I didn't expect that. It seemed to be just a very calm word. Xiaju, your father is calling you. Justin scratched his face. Isn't Xiaju very attached to Mr. Gu? Why are you so scared now? Are the relationships between fathers and sons in mainland China so weird? Oh. Gu Xiaju quietly raised his head and glanced at the owner's expression. It seems, not very angry, right? Justin, we father and son have some private things to talk about. Is it convenient for you to leave? Gu Yan turned his head and glanced at Justin at this time. Okay, Justin said without any doubt that he was there. Xiaju, I'll come and play with you later. After Justin left, Gu Xiaju lowered his head and stared at the ground. Xiaju, come here. Gu Yan said again. Master. Gu Xiaju wanted to apologize. It was because he had been too presumptuous during this period and was a little too carried away. Will the head of the family hate him again now? I haven't seen your aunt for many years, right? Surprisingly, Gu Yan's voice was still as gentle as usual, and he waved to the child. Come and say hello to your aunt. Gu Xiaju couldn't believe what he was hearing now. Is the head of the family allowing himself to see his aunt? Master. Gu Xiaju was a little at a loss. But my aunt doesn't like him, and she still hates him. Even he hates himself. Guyan knew the reason for Gu Xiaoju's hesitation, but he hadn't figured out how to say it yet. He could only encourage him with less obvious hints. You are a child of the Gu family, go ahead. Gu Xiaoju hesitated for a moment, but walked over anyway. He looked carefully at the woman in front of him. Timeless beauty. After decades, it seems that no trace of time has been left on the woman's body, and she is still as beautiful, soft, gentle, and moving as before. The woman was also startled. Rarely, she raised her head and looked at the sudden appearance of the child. Her dull eyes flickered slightly, as if she was a little puzzled and a little curious. The child spoke softly, "Hello, Aunt." The woman didn't recognize the child in front of her, and she didn't know his name. But the woman could feel that there was an aura about this child that made him feel very kind. Human beings in this world have inexplicable special connections with relatives who have similar blood. Originally, there were very few traces of this world on Gu Xiaoju, plus he stayed with Blue Star all year round. But after this blessing from the sea spirit, the other half of his bloodline was subtly stimulated. Although it may not be able to obtain much ability because it is too thin, Gu Xiaoju's identity has been recognized in the eyes of the tribesmen who share the same bloodline. The woman suddenly said, "Can I hug you?" "But, it's okay." The child was a little flattered. The woman stretched out her hand and gently hugged the child into her arms. A slight blush suddenly appeared on the latter's cheeks. Auntie's embrace is still as warm as ever. But the next second, the child couldn't help but become nervous. Auntie won't blame him, right? Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 1005. Sutingyu had dark circles under his eyes and stared intensely at the 2 bottles of potion in his hand that were about to be fused. Slow down, don't be in a hurry." Sutingyu murmured to himself, and seemed to be in a crazy state. However, even in such a crazy state, Sutingyu's hands were still handling the 2 bottles of potions very steadily and calmly. The 2 bottles of potion finally merged together, causing a faint bubble on the surface. As those bubbles popped one by one, the overall color of the potion also underwent a qualitative change. Slowly, it began to calm down again. Sutingyu looked at the scene in disbelief, then carefully held the fresh potion and checked it on the panel. Props: Advanced Disguise Potion. Grade: Rare. Function: the user can change his or her external conditions, including appearance, body shape, voice, gender, according to the user's thoughts, within 5 hours. Usage: disposable. Note: guess who I am? Wow! Sutingyu exclaimed. It's done, it's done. It's finally done. Wow, haha. I am a genius. A genius like me. Isn't it just a matter of having one's hands on a high-end disguise potion? Sutingyu became more and more excited. Finally, his whole body relaxed and he accidentally fell to the ground. However, at the moment he fell, Sutingyu did not forget to protect his hard-won bottle of advanced disguise potion with both hands. God knows how much energy Sutingyu spent on refining a bottle of high-level disguise potion during this period. Initially, the panel was used to directly refine potions. But I don't know why, when using the panel to make potions, it always gets stuck in the last step of fusion and fails. Sutingyu thought about it and finally decided to take the last step by herself. Unexpectedly, it was successful. Garbage panel: it turns out the little fairy has to take action herself. Sutingyu did the final simple processing of the potion in his hand and put it into the storage ring. During this period of time, after working hard day and night, Sutingyu finally raised his magician proficiency from intermediate to advanced. Then, he started refining high-level magic potions. The first high-level magic potion that was refined was the high-level disguise potion that Sutingyu had longed for. We finally succeeded, but it seems that the little time left is not enough to continue refining other high-level potions. Sutingyu glanced at the time displayed on the panel. 9 days had passed since the last round of copies came out. Tomorrow, Sutingyu will enter the next round of dungeon. However, I can refine a few more bottles of high-level disguise potions tonight to replenish my reserves. Sutingyu was looking forward to a better tomorrow when a message from Fatty popped up on the panel. Sutingyu clicked it and took a look. Boss, oh no, problem occurs. Sutingyu's eyes narrowed, what's wrong? Boss, the Black Tower, the watch light of the Black Tower is almost disappearing. Sutingyu was shocked. What? The light of watch disappears? Sutingyu was just about to go out to inquire about the situation, when a new notification popped up on the panel. Not only Sutingyu, but all the players received the panel notification at the same time. Dear Open Beta players, welcome to Parallel Paradise. Congratulations, you will represent your planet and participate in the second phase of Public Beta. The following are the relevant rules changed by Parallel Park in the second stage of Public Beta. 1. In the second phase of the Public Beta, a new alien camp mode will be opened. Alien players in different camps can fight with each other. If you successfully kill an alien player, you will receive corresponding rewards. 2. The trial period of the Black Tower watching light is about to end. If you want to continue to extend its use, you need to obtain enough camp points in the camp battle of the dungeon in exchange for the right to use the Black Tower watching light. Warm reminder, faction points are divided into faction combat power points and personal combat power points. Players are requested to actively obtain camp points. Finally, Parallel Paradise is very grateful for your active cooperation and strong support. Everything you get in the game can be used by you at will. You can experience different identities and classes in the game and enjoy a happy life. Holy crap! The light of the Black Tower watch is going to disappear. If the light of the Black Tower watch disappears, then it will be even more difficult for humans to deal with the extreme cold of the Great Ice Age. Moreover, without the Black Tower's watch light, how can players in the base enter the Black Tower from the base to exercise? During this part of the journey, there are not many cold-proof clothes that can be used by so many players. In addition, Sutingyu also got some news and knew that officials had begun researching cold-resistant crops. There are many bases that have moved their research experimental fields from within the base to outside the base. If the light of the Black Tower watch disappears at this time, those cold-resistant crops that have not been fully researched will definitely face a heavy blow. Not to mention, there are some staff members who are still outside due to missions. After losing the protection of the Black Tower's watching light, if they fail to return to the base in time, what awaits them? As soon as Sutingyu opened the door, she found Qin-Chi already waiting for her in front of the door. Sutingyu asked, "Have you seen the panel announcements?" Qin-Chi nodded, with a serious look on his face. The sudden arrival of the second phase of the Public Beta has disrupted many of Blue Star's plans. Let's go find the Fat Man first. Say Fat Man, and here comes the Fat Man. Boss, Brother Qin, have you all seen that panel announcement? The Fat Man ran over panting. Sutingyu, yes, I saw it, and I was about to go find you. In the second phase of the Public Beta, a new camp has been added. In other words, in the next copy, we are likely to encounter other players from other worlds. The Fat Man scratched his head and was very puzzled. Then, according to the meaning of this announcement, if we encounter players from other worlds in the dungeon, we will fight to the death. What is the purpose of this game? Is it just to make players from so many worlds fight each other? Qin-Chi glanced at the two of them. The next round of dungeon is tomorrow. You all should be careful. After entering the dungeon, you must not reveal your identity as a player. In the copy, everything is hard to say. As soon as the panel announcement came out, all the players were shocked. The official is working as quickly as possible to appease all the people who are panicking due to the second phase of the Public Beta. At the same time, Things about other worlds and other world players are also beginning to be exposed on a global scale. Overnight, all Blue Star humans were in a state of boiling rage. Wow! There really are aliens. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1006. Copy, Alien Invasion. Background: with each passing year, the biennial flower arrangement exhibition in Kuyutown opens. Flower arrangers from all over the world and flower arrangement enthusiasts who come here instantly fill this quiet town. Flowers only last for a short time in full bloom, and in this town, the flowers will bloom even more brilliantly, stunning the world. Total number of players, 50,000. Number of player camps, 5 realms. Number of players in your own world, 10,000. Number of players from another world, 40,000. Main mission: survive until the end of the copy time. Difficulty: 7 stars. Duration: 5 days. Level clearing rewards: after clearing the level, you will settle the game currency and have a probability of obtaining game props and lottery opportunities. Before Sutinyu could take a closer look at the contents of the copy, someone in front seemed to look over and shouted in his direction. "Monica, what are you thinking about?" A handsome foreign boy with blonde hair and blue eyes walked towards Sutinyu. Seeing that the latter had been standing there stupidly, with a trace of doubt on his face, he immediately urged, "Have you bought the tickets for the exhibition?" "Huh?" The handsome boy had sharp eyes. He saw Sutinyu holding 2 tickets at a glance and snatched one away. "Don't tell me if you've already bought it. Come in quickly, the exhibition is about to begin." "Oh, okay." Sutinyu was confused now, but looking at the situation, does this male NPC know him? When Sutinyu approached the male NPC, he secretly checked the latter. No game nickname popped up. This was not a player. But Sutinyu now doesn't even know her identity in this copy, nor the identity and name of this male NPC. It's hard to do. While the handsome foreign guy was standing in front of the queue to check in, Sutinyu quickly checked the items he carried with him, trying to find out some information. Sutinyu was carrying a small bag. She opened it and saw that there were some cash, bank cards, an ID card, and other scattered small items inside. The picture on the ID card was clearly that of Sutinyu himself. The name on the ID card is Monica. The male NPC seemed to have called him that just now. Sutinyu also saw a small notepad and a travel promotion picture. I flipped through the notepad casually a few times, and unexpectedly, I actually found something. March 5th was another extremely boring day. My parents were so busy that they forgot about my birthday this year. I had to eat the cake alone. March 20th, I went shopping today and met a handsome foreign guy who looked very handsome and had a personable demeanor. I feel like I'm in love. On April 17th, I brought Mike home and wanted to introduce it to my parents. As a result, they strongly disagreed when they saw that he was a foreigner. I really had enough of them. May 10th, today I sneaked out to look for Mike, but I was discovered by that old-fashioned old guy and locked up at home. I hate him. On May 28th, I decided, I want to run away from home. I'm going to find Mike, to pursue my true love. June 11th, ha 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 ha, I finally escaped from that prison. I will go to his country and his city with Mike tomorrow, and then live a happy life with him. Sutinyu didn't finish reading because it was time for her to check in. Sutinyu handed over the ticket in his hand, and after the ticket inspector finished checking it, he let him enter the exhibition. "Monica, hurry up," Mike from the front urged. Sutinyu's mood at the moment was extremely complicated. Did she elope and run away with an average-looking wild foreign man? Originally, from Sutinyu's perspective, Mike's appearance was somewhat handsome. But suddenly being put into the position of elopement partner and true love, Sutinyu felt a little disgusted and guilty for no reason. "That's it?" Sutinyu's question came from the depths of Sutinyu's soul like thunder. "This elopement partner, in terms of looks alone, is not as good as Kikai, cough cough cough. Sutingyu quickly stopped the thoughts in his mind. Correct. Copy content. While Sutingyu followed Mike, he opened the panel and read the contents of the copy carefully. After reading it, Sutingyu began to think. With the opening of the second phase of the public beta, sure enough, changes have also taken place in the copy. Faction has been added to the content of the dungeon. Players from 5 worlds will participate in this round of dungeon. The number of players in each world should be 10,000. In addition, this round of 7-star dungeons is unlikely to be a single attribute survival dungeon, and may have other hidden attributes. Since the dungeon lasts for 5 days and it is only the first day of the dungeon should also leave time for players to investigate or prepare. Monica, walk faster. Hurry, Mike from the front urged again when he saw Sutingyu was lingering. I know, Sutingyu responded casually and hurried up. Mike kept chattering, finally, we have waited for the biennial flower arrangement exhibition in Dead Leaf Town. Now, the top flower arrangement masters from all over the world are gathered here, and many princes and nobles who love flower arrangement will also attend. Watch. Flower arrangement exhibition. Hearing this, Sutingyu blinked in confusion. Flower arrangement? What's there to show for this? Forgive her lack of taste, but she really doesn't understand the charm of flower arrangement. However, we have come, and now Mike, the tool man, is still of some use, so we can only watch the flower arrangement exhibition with him first. Sutingyu also followed Mike and began to admire the flowers nearby. Although I don't know much about the arrangement of flower arrangements, the flowers here are all in full bloom. The flowers here are quite beautiful, Sutingyu muttered slightly. When Mike heard this, he immediately responded excitedly, of course, the flowers that can be put in the exhibition must be the best of the best. Monica, this is what I told you, a special exhibition in my hometown. How about it? Are you shocked? Sutingyu's face froze slightly, and 2 words seemed to be circulating endlessly in her mind. Elope, 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 elope. Receive. Stop it. I was indeed shocked, Sutingyu replied perfunctorily. Rather than the flower arrangement exhibition, Sutingyu wanted to know how far Monica and Mike had developed. Also, just looking at Mike's attitude towards Monica now, it doesn't feel like a boyfriend who is passionately in love and eloping. The way he looks at her, is more like looking at someone who was taken advantage of. Fortunately, Mike ignored Sutingyu and went to enjoy the flower arrangement exhibition by himself. Taking advantage of this time, Sutingyu hurriedly read through the contents at the back of the notepad. After watching it, Sutingyu expressed that he was shocked and couldn't understand. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1007. From the existing information, Sutingyu could infer that Monica's family background was quite superior, but because her parents were busy at work and had no time to spend with her, the relationship with her parents was not very good. After unexpectedly meeting the handsome and sweet-tongued Mike, he was deeply attracted to him, and even went so far as to disobey his parents and elope abroad with him. But from the perspective of a bystander, Sutingyu felt that this Mike was just a fishing man. Monica's running away from home was driven and bewitched by Mike behind the scenes. Moreover, this silly girl had never been abroad very often. She was bewitched by Mike and only took the family's money without her passport or ID card. Mike took her out of the country through grey channels. After going abroad, Mike's attitude changed significantly, and he was not as considerate and attentive as before. Moreover, because Monica did not have a passport and ID card, she was equivalent to a blacklist abroad, so she could only stay with Mike. And Mike, without any guilt, squandered the money brought by Monica, visiting various high-end places and tourist attractions from time to time, including this time the flower arrangement exhibition in Dead Leaf Town. Although none of these things happen to me, it makes people feel a little angry when I hear them. Sutinyu looked at Mike again, with a hint of evil in his eyes. However, Sutinyu thought about her current identity, just like the Black household. Before finding Chin-Chi, Fatty and the others, she still had to follow Mike. Anyway, just use each other. At this time, Sutinyu saw a commotion ahead, and when he got closer, he heard some voices. Who is it? Who destroyed my work? Don't take it seriously if you dare. Come out quickly. A contestant in a flower arrangement exhibition held his work and roared angrily. And his voice also attracted the crowd nearby. What's going on? Huh? I think I know that contestant. He is a well-known flower arranger from Country M. This entry has been destroyed. This is too abominable. Who did it? The onlookers were talking a lot, and Sutinyu finally squeezed in and saw the contestant's damaged work. The flower arrangement that was originally carefully trimmed became a mess. The petals seemed to have been squeezed dry, and the originally tender green branches became dry, and some were even broken. In addition, there were only some very conspicuous red flowers among the destroyed flower branches. Those small red flowers seemed to be attached to those failed and withered branches, and the color of the petals looked very delicate, like the color of blood. Before everyone could figure out the situation, something happened to another contestant's work. My work, how could it be like this? Who is it? Who did it? Several contestants looked at the destroyed works in front of them in disbelief. Sutinyu was slightly startled when he heard the movement. Is there something wrong with another contestant's work? Sutinyu immediately went to the melon-eating scene, and sure enough, she saw that many contestants' works had been murdered. Is it you? Did you do it? What are you crazy about? What did I do? Last month, I won a silver medal, but you didn't get any, so now that you're using such despicable means, it must be you who did it. Don't slander me. I didn't do this at all. I don't know anything. I just came back. Haha, do you think I believe it? I have had conflicts with you. It was not you who did it. Who else could do such a morally corrupt thing in public? The flower arranger who was inexplicably involved couldn't help it anymore, and the two began to quarrel fiercely. The other contestants whose works were destroyed also became suspicious. People who eat melons are also talking about it. Soon, the sudden outbreak at the exhibition attracted the attention of the exhibition staff, who came to deal with the situation. Contestants, please be patient. We will call the surveillance cameras at the exhibition later. Then we will find out who is the person who destroyed everyone's entries. The staff tried to appease the emotions of the victims. You are talking so lightly, then when will you be able to find out? If you are still unable to find out, is it possible that all our works will be destroyed in vain? Is there any point in continuing this competition? Let that despicable saboteur get the reward. The indignation expressed by the victims cannot be calmed down in a short time. The exhibition staff could only continue to comfort them in a hurry. Among the crowd, Sutinyu noticed that the techniques of the destroyed works were very similar. Those little red flowers, are they okay? Sutinyu stared blankly. Then, Sutinyu compared all the destroyed works and found that there were inexplicable little red flowers here. It doesn't look like the contestants put it there themselves, does it? Could this be a mark left by the perpetrator? A mark. Sutinyu guessed in her heart. If there is surveillance, we should be able to find out. After all, there is a flower arrangement exhibition going on right now, so there must be a lot of surveillance, and with so many works destroyed, it is impossible to do it quietly. Unless the monitoring is broken. Who knows if you will cover the perpetrators? I demand that surveillance be made public. Yes. You can't just watch it and say what you say. If you have the ability, you will be monitored and released. The victims were all well-known flower arrangers. After a brief shock, they also began to choose to defend their rights for their works. These people all have a lot of weight and voice in the flower arrangement world. If they are transparent, they will not be invited. If one thing is not handled well, this flower arrangement exhibition will be ruined. Finally, the top management of the flower arrangement exhibition and the police from Dead Leaf Town came. The police officers immediately cordoned off the scene, then conducted questioning and monitored the situation. The top management of the exhibition first announced the postponement of the exhibition. After all, every victimized participant will be compensated. In addition, the ticket fees of the audience who bought tickets today will also be refunded. Executives said they would give enough time to allow all contestants to perfect their works before starting the exhibition. Sutingyu was also taken for questioning for a while, and then the surveillance camera found that she had just come in, so she was asked to leave her contact information and address. Fortunately, Monica has a mobile phone. Sutingyu left her contact information and the current address of Monica and walked out of the flower arrangement exhibition hall. This happened suddenly just now. Sutingyu and Mike were lost, but he still had his contact information on his phone, so he called him directly. After the call was connected, before Sutingyu could ask, the microphone on the other station crackled. "Where are you now? I told you to follow me faster, why did you still lose me? It's so dangerous to be unfamiliar with this place. Where are you now? I'll go find you." After some questioning and caring words, a girl with a simple mind would really be deceived. But Sutingyu, who knew Mike's true identity, naturally understood that the former was just worried about losing a wallet. Sutingyu took a quick glance at the bank cards bound to Monica's phone, which amounted to tens of millions. This money was all Monica's pocket money and New Year's money over the years. When she ran away from home, she listened to Mike's words and took away several bank cards from home. Tisk tisk tisk. A proper rich woman. Sutingyu agreed on his face, "Okay, I'll wait for you at the east gate of the exhibition." "Okay, okay." After Mike agreed, he hung up the call. Sutingyu wasn't worried whether Mike would come to find her, after all, the money in her wallet had not been spent. While waiting for others, Sutingyu began to think about this round of dungeons. Sutingyu did not open the panel. Now that people were coming and going nearby, players could see each other's panels. It would be fine if they met players from the same world. But if they were from another world, trouble would immediately arise. In general dungeons, if there is any danger, there will be some suggestive information in the dungeon content. However, as Sutingyu looked around, he felt that flowers appeared a bit too frequently. Is it possible that the key point of this copy is the flowers? The name of the copy is Alien Invasion, which most likely refers to the invasion of a certain kind of animals and plants. This is Dead Leaf Town, with a strong flower arrangement culture, so the invasion of this species should be related to plants. Plant. Sutingyu was inexplicably reminded of the contestants whose works had been destroyed. Their destroyed works all had those inconspicuous little red flowers. It should be impossible for so many contestants to use such an ordinary little red flower for decoration. One or two would be fair enough, but if there were so many together, it would be a coincidence. Sutingyu looked at the flower arrangement exhibition hall again, and it was all sealed up now. Sutingyu just came out and couldn't get in now. He insisted on going in, but he was somehow suspicious. "Monica, I'm coming." Just when Sutingyu was struggling, Mike rushed over. "Are you okay? I didn't expect that something like this would happen at this flower arrangement exhibition. We may have to stay in Kuyu Town for a few more days. After watching this exhibition, we can go to the next tourist attraction, okay?" Although Mike's tone was discussing, he was only acting superficially. because he didn't think that Sotingyu would refute his words at all. Of course Sotingyu would not refute. Originally, her dungeon mission was here in Dead Leaf Town. If she left, what else would she do? So, Sotingyu took advantage of the situation and agreed. Seeing that Sotingyu still listened to him as usual, Mike couldn't help but feel a little proud. Alas, I blame myself for being too charming. Being handsome is also a worry. Monica, I'm a little hungry now. Let's go to a 5-star hotel to eat something first. I know there is one nearby and the seafood there is very delicious. Mike looked excited and looked at Sotingyu. Instead of looking like a lover, he looked at someone who was taken advantage of. I don't know what Monica's vision is. Maybe it's because I've seen too few men? Is that why you were deceived? Sotingyu adhered to the thought that if you have the opportunity to enjoy it, of course you should enjoy it, and nodded in agreement. Okay, let's go to that place. The two went to the 5-star hotel that Mike said. Then, with a wave of his hand, Mike ordered a lot of expensive dishes, and also ordered several bottles of red wine worth more than 100,000 yuan. It's called a candlelight dinner with Sotingyu. How could there be no wine? Sotingyu could only pretend to be touched on her face, but she secretly despised him in her heart. The money was obviously paid for by Sotingyu himself. Monica is indeed a bit stupid. She has been with Mike for so long, and it seems that she doesn't even know the latter's basic information. I don't know where he is from, who his family is, where he lives, and what he does for a living. The current name of Mike may still be fake. Although Sotingyu felt slightly depressed, there was nothing he could do. After all, it's just a copy. None of the NPCs in the dungeon are real people. If it were a real person, maybe Sotingyu would still be interested in messing with this microphone. After eating the meal, Mike's interest continued and he took Sotingyu to play in the town. In fact, if Mike wanted to play, he asked Sotingyu to pay for it. While playing, Sotingyu used his mobile phone to inquire about the situation in Dead Leaf Town. Kuyu Town is said to be a town, but in fact, its size is equivalent to a first-class city in the real world. The traditional culture here is all related to flower arrangement. Sotingyu also found hot news about the flower arrangement exhibition. Things still have no result. The surveillance team also investigated, but found nothing. Those works were under surveillance, and they withered at an extremely fast speed without knowing what happened. This matter, just listening to it, seems magical and nonsense. As a result, those victims naturally cannot give up. At this time, Sotingyu passed by a small fountain park. The nearby walkways were decorated with green plants and flower beds. A mother and daughter passed by Sotingyu. The little girl looked left and right. Suddenly, she was attracted by a flash of red. She broke away from her mother's hand and ran towards the flower garden. The little girl seemed to have taken a fancy to a certain flower in the flower garden and wanted to pick it. Because she was short, she couldn't pick it, so she asked her mother for help. "Mom, I want little red flowers." "What little red flowers?" "These are wild flowers on the roadside. They are very unclean. Don't pick them." The mother took a look and realized that the little red flower was a flower she couldn't name. The mother had a look of disgust on her face and pulled her daughter away from the place. Sotingyu walked away and did not notice the movements of the mother and daughter. Mike, who was in front of him, saw Sotingyu moving slowly like a snail and kept urging him loudly. "Monica, can you hurry up?" Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 1008. Chapter 1001, Alien Invasion 3, Please vote for me. Sotingyu pursed his lips. "Why do you feel like you're being stalked by a dog?" "No. We need to find Chin-Chi and Fatty quickly and get rid of this Mike." So, when Mike went to a shopping mall selling high-end men's clothes and shoes, Sotingyu made an excuse to go to the toilet. In the toilet, Sutinyu took out the communication phone and started to contact Qin and Fatty. Sutinyu was the first to contact Qin, but he couldn't be contacted. Huh? Can't get in touch. Sutinyu was a little confused, but this kind of situation had happened before, so she didn't make a fuss. Sutinyu contacted Fatty instead. Boss. Help. Unexpectedly, Sutinyu heard Fatty's cry for help as soon as the call was connected. Sutinyu looked a little stunned and asked quickly, "What's wrong?" Fatty. Boss, I met 4 other world players. One of the female alien players used some prop ability, which caused all the props on me to lose their active functions. I can't even use the liaison machine. Fortunately, boss, you took the initiative to call. Sutinyu's face suddenly became condensed, and he asked calmly, "Where are you now?" "Just hold on, I'll go find you." "Boss, I'm hiding on the top floor of the Blossom Tower in Dead Leaf Town. Fortunately, some of the passive functions of some accessories in my accessories column can still be used, so I've escaped several pursuits," Fatty reported quickly. "Out your location information." "Okay, I won't hang up the call, just wait." Sutinyu put on the invisible hat and jumped out of the toilet window. The toilet was on the 2nd floor of the shopping mall. The moment Sutinyu jumped down, black wings spread out from behind. With a slight flap of its wings, Sutinyu flew into the night sky. Sutinyu just checked the basic situation of Kuyutown not long ago, and the Fanhua Tower is the tallest building in Kuyutown. It is very famous and very conspicuous. After Sutinyu flew to a height where the nearby buildings could not block his sight, he glanced around and quickly locked the position of the flower tower. "Over there." Sutinyu immediately flew towards the flower tower. In the middle of the process, Sutinyu thought of the methods of those players from other worlds that Fatty had mentioned, and to be on the safe side, Sutinyu called Lucifer out. Sutinyu explained the current situation to Lucifer in a few words. "Fat Man is in danger. The opponent has the ability to restrict players from using props. Be safe and I will let you out first." As soon as Lucifer, who was sitting on Sutinyu's shoulder, heard that his royal chef was in danger, his face instantly became serious and he urged, "Little Susu, hurry up. Fatty is his chef. Something happened to the chef equals no drinks equals Lucifer had no drinks while watching the drama. This is absolutely not allowed." Lucifer stared at the flower tower in the distance, his eyes filled with unprecedented solemnity. Even when he was confronting the mysterious existence on Yin Yang Star, he had never been so solemn. At this time, the top of the flower tower. In the corner, the fat man held the contact machine and refused to let go. Listening to the noise coming from the liaison machine, Fatty knew that the boss had already rushed over here. As long as he persists, when the big boss comes, these 4 players from another world will definitely be unable to do anything to him. Just as the fat man relaxed a little, suddenly, with a bang, the blocked door on the top floor of the tower was violently smashed open. The fat man was also startled by the movement, and suddenly became nervous again. Could it be them? Are they here? The fat man was frightened and on the verge of crying. At this time, several joking voices sounded from inside the door. "Little fat man, stop hiding and come out obediently. Come out quickly if you know your identity, and we can give you a whole body. Don't toast me and you'll have to drink as a fine. Get out now. You can't escape anymore." Hearing this threatening voice, the fat man huddled in the corner, even more afraid to move. These voices were the voices of the alien players who were chasing him. These 3 voices are all the voices of male players. Just find him. What nonsense! At this time, a female voice interrupted what the 3 of them had not finished speaking. "Don't worry, Naya, he can't run away." "Yes, I'll find him right now." The female player's voice sounded a little cold, but it did not diminish the enthusiasm of the 3 male players at all. Fatty is now hiding in a corner, relying on the few passive skills he has to reduce his sense of presence and reduce the possibility of being found. However, hiding like this all the time is not an option. Fatty could only pray silently in his heart. "Boss, come quickly. This alien player is so scary." 4 players from another world began to search on the top floor. As time went by, those footsteps, like a life-threatening charm, were approaching Fatty's hiding place. Suddenly, Fatty heard the exclamations of those people. "What's that out there? Holy crap, why is there a birdman flying in the sky?" As soon as the man finished speaking, a huge stick fell from the sky and hit him on the head. Immediately afterwards, a cold snort came, "You are the Birdman, and your whole family is Birdman." The sound was answered with a bang. The huge stick hit the man's face. For a moment, the man's head was bruised and bleeding, and he fell to the ground. "Who? It must be a player." The fat man heard the noise and glanced outside. "When I saw that familiar figure in the night sky, I couldn't help but get excited. It's the boss. The boss is here. Very good." Sutinyu glanced around and didn't see Fatty, only the 4 other world players. Sutinyu breathed a sigh of relief. This shows that Fatty has not been caught by them yet. After the 3 alien players on the ground looked at each other, one of the male players opened his mouth and shouted, "If you have the ability, come down. Let's challenge each other. What's the point of sneak attacks?" Sutinyu didn't care about the male player at all, but focused on the female player. The female player's left hand was hanging on her waist, but her right hand was always behind her back, as if she was hiding something. "Haha, are you trying to lure her down?" Sutinyu flew to Lu Yubang's side, and under the astonished eyes of the 3 people, he grabbed Lu Yubang with one hand. Then, he smashed it into the face of the yelling male player. Holy shit! Because he was on guard this time, the veteran player cursed and hid. Seeing that Sutinyu was not fooled at all, the female player said, "Let's retreat first." But some players hesitated. "This round of dungeons will take a long time, do you want to spend it here?" the female player asked sharply. "Take that trash on the ground and leave quickly." The female player glanced at the male player who was injured by Sutinyu's stick and was now completely unconscious, with a trace of disgust in her eyes. "Okay, let's go." One of the male players carried the man on his back. Sutinyu saw them looking like they were about to run away, so of course she refused. Even if Sutinyu was willing to agree, Lucifer in the dark would not agree. Sutinyu directly summoned Dawai and the others, and in an instant, they surrounded the top floor. "Want to run away? It's not that easy," Sutinyu snorted coldly. Immediately, he picked up the meteor rod and smashed it at the 4 alien players. "Damn it! We have no grievances, why are you going against us?" a male player roared. Sutinyu struck the stick again. "No injustice or hatred?" "Not necessarily." Hearing this, the players from the other world were slightly startled, and they all thought of the dead fat man they had just been chasing. Could it be that this man is the reinforcement called by that damn fat man? But his props are obviously no longer useful, so where can he contact other players? "Little Susu, your movements are too slow, why haven't you killed them yet? Do you want me to help you?" Lucifer, who had been sitting on Sutinyu's shoulder, couldn't stand it anymore. Lucifer used a few tricks to make the other world players below invisible to him. At this time, seeing that every attack by Sutinyu was dodged or resisted by those people, he felt a little unhappy. Lucifer felt that he wanted to vent his anger on his royal chef so that the latter could get him more drinks. "Well, be careful and don't expose yourself." Sutinyu actually wanted to hide his strength in front of these alien players, so he didn't use other props to deal with these people. After all, this second phase of public beta, no matter how you look at it, looks like a struggle between the world and the world. If you reveal your trump card early, it will be easy for players from other worlds to figure out their tricks and target you. This would definitely be detrimental to her. Sutinyu couldn't guarantee that if the 4 alien players died in this round of dungeons, would they die directly in reality? Seeing how they were able to push Fatty to this extent, it was obvious that they couldn't be the group of people who became players after the public beta. Lucifer's fingertips glowed with a faint golden light, and then he clicked on the meteor rod. In an instant, the meteor rod was strengthened several times. It can only last 3 minutes, Lucifer reminded. Sutinyu's eyes lit up, and he immediately swung the meteor rod and smashed it at the alien player below again. This time, those alien players wanted to avoid it like before, but at this moment, a burst of golden light burst out from the surface of the meteor rod. In just a few seconds, several players from other worlds were horrified to find that they could not move. Boom! The meteor rod was smashed down, knocking the 3 male players out of existence on the spot, leaving only the female player dying. I will remember you. If I encounter you again in the next round of dungeons, I will not let you go. The female player, unable to move, glared at Sutinyu fiercely. Sutinyu was not deterred at all, and replied, I will wait for my defeated general. Upon hearing those 4 words, the female player's face turned dark. His general was defeated. This was simply a shame and a great humiliation. You know, since she entered this game, it has always been smooth sailing. But now, in the hands of an alien player who didn't even know the game's nickname, he suffered a severe defeat. Sutinyu was just about to raise the falling stick and give the female player the final blow. Who knew that the latter chose to take out the dagger and wipe her neck to commit suicide? Sutinyu was stunned for a moment, and then, after waiting for the female player to make no move, she picked up the falling stick and smashed it at her. After refinishing the knife, Sutinyu made sure that these alien players could not die anymore, and then fell from the sky. Fat man, come out. Boss. Woohoo. After seeing that the crisis was over, Fatty ran out and met Sutinyu. Just now, the fat man was afraid that if he ran out, it would affect Sutinyu, so he kept hiding. After the two met, they also exchanged information with each other. After hearing what happened to Sutinyu as a person, Fatty was also shocked by Mike's shamelessness. Damn it, isn't it? Boss, is that person such a scumbag? Yes, if this identity didn't have an ID card and a passport, I would have kicked him long ago, Sutinyu said depressedly. Fatty, that's okay, boss. I am a local and I have a house here. Hearing this, Sutinyu suddenly became happy. Woohoo! She could finally say goodbye to that Mike. After Sutinyu and Fatty came down from the flower tower, they passed by a large supermarket. The latter thought that there was no food reserves at home, so he wanted to go in and do some shopping. When it was time to check out, Sutinyu handed over a bank card grandly and walked out of the supermarket first. Suddenly, Sutinyu stared intensely at a smart machine placed next to the entrance of the supermarket. The smart machine looks like a combination of an ordinary weight scale and a height measuring machine. Sutinyu never cared about weight or anything else. But height. Sutinyu couldn't help but recall the most recent height measurement, which seemed to be a year ago. After a year of vicissitudes of life, Sutinyu felt that she had regained her confidence again. So, Sutinyu stood on the unmanned machine, scanned the code with his mobile phone, and then started to test his height. Mutter. The machine started to run, and Sutinyu became uneasy. Sutinyu held her head high and waited for the ruler to measure her height to touch her head. 2 seconds later, it bounced back. The surface of the machine screen began to spin in circles, and Sutinyu couldn't help but hold his breath and concentrate, accepting the approval of fate. Mutter. 159. Sutinyu's eyes widened in surprise. 159. It's 159. Measure your height with your shoes on, it's only 159. Just as Sutinyu fell into excitement, The passers-by glanced at Sotingu's height, then laughed out loud and whispered to his friends. But the problem was that the distance between the two was too close, and Sotingu heard it completely. As a result, Sotingu's expression suddenly dropped, and she began to count the height of her shoes with her fingers. Sotingu was wearing white shoes. The height of the shoes was probably about 1-2 centimeters. 159-1, 159-2. Sotingu's big eyes were filled with hope again. Even excluding the height of her shoes, she should be around 158 centimeters now. Rounding. The little fairy is only 1.6 meters tall. Woohoo! Sotingu stepped off the machine, feeling happy from head to toe. When Fatty brought out a lot of products from the supermarket, he saw Sotingu's expression of joy, as if she had picked up a pie from the sky, and he couldn't help but feel curious.